Warriors NRL fanatics here back today with a video, and I'm going to give my thoughts on the NRL rules. So, not just my thoughts on the crackdown rules across the weekend, my thoughts on the rules in general. So, let's get into it. So, as you guys know, the NRL, Peter V'landys said he will come down and crack down on high tackles to the head. And we saw across the weekend how much of a big impact it made. We saw lots and lots of sin bins. Now, I think Magic Round should be known as the Magic Round sin bin round, because that's what it felt like. It felt like just the sin bin round to me. And, what can you say as a fan? Very frustrating. I can understand where they're going through with this. I can understand where they're going through it. Now, look, you can understand where they're going through with it. I can understand it completely, but the NRL is a contact sport. It's a contact sport. Look, I know we're trying to crack down on serious injuries. Yes, I don't want to see serious injuries in the game. I don't want to see players, end their careers because of concussion, head knocks. I don't want to see players end their careers because of serious injuries. But it's a game of rugby league. It's a game of sport, and it's a game of rugby league in general. What Peter V'landys did, Andrew Ebdo, the NRL, by coming out and introducing enforcing these rules right to across the weekend, I thought it was completely over the top, in my opinion. I thought it was completely over the top. I know there's a lot of people that didn't like the rules. They thought it was over the top as well. I even saw players put stuff on their social media saying they thought it was over the top. I saw Harry Grant make a little message. He said something. We saw Brandon Smith do a poll on Instagram. We saw Daly Cherry Evans. We see these players come out and say they're not fans of the rules, and I personally don't blame them. And we see coaches as well in the press conference. We've seen some coaches have their say. We've seen Trent Robinson. We've seen Ricky Stewart. We've seen Wayne Bennett. Trent Robinson, I know he supports the rule. I know Wayne Bennett supports the rule. But, at the end of the day, it's a very, very inconsistent thing from the NRL to keep introducing these rules. Now, yes, introduce rules, but do not introduce them during the season. Introduce them during the off-season. That's when you should be introducing new rules. And looking at the new rules, you look at last year, they introduced the 6 again rule, which was brought in after the COVID lockdown thing, when the NRL resumed, they introduced the new 6 again rule. Personally, I thought it was, at the start I didn't mind it, but, now since then I've hated the 6 again rule, because what it's created, the 6 again rule, is lots of high-scoring games. It's created touch football scorelines. We've seen 40-0, 50-0. We've seen blowouts almost every game. We've seen a lot of blowouts, and that is the problem. It's a massive problem. I'm not saying the NRL is entirely to blame for it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying the NRL is to blame for it. Yes, it's up to the teams. It's up to the players to adapt to that. But I'm not saying the NRL is to blame for it. But all I'm saying is these rules have favoured some teams. You've seen the top teams. You've seen the massive gap between the top teams and the bottom teams. And these rules have favoured those teams. So all I'm saying is, the 6 again rule, I don't like it at all. I hate the 6 again rule. Please get rid of it. I cannot stand it whatsoever. Are we turning the game to touch football? I don't want to watch a game of touch football. If I want to watch a game of touch football, I'll watch it. I will. This is the NRL. This is the NRL, and at the end of the day, I'm not a fan of the 6 again rule. I've always hated the 6 again rule. I personally thought it was alright at the start, but now I've just completely hated it. But at the end of the day, it's up to the teams. It's up to the players to adapt to it. But it's a rule that is ridiculous, and I think needs to be removed immediately. So the 6 again rule, I cannot stand whatsoever. And another rule, is the 2-point field goals. And you know what? We haven't seen too much of it this year, which is great, because I'm a bit relieved that we haven't seen too much of it. I'm still not a fan of it. I still don't like the 2-point field goal rule. The field goal should be worth just 1 point. Why did they change it during the off-season? Why did they introduce a 2-point field goal? I don't know. And what is the reason behind it? Why do they do it? Because, if teams go for the 2-point field goal now, it's just going to favour those teams. So, we've seen 2-point field goals. The likes of Adam Reynolds kick one. We've seen the likes of, a lot of players kick field goals. But 2-point field goals, I just still cannot stand that rule. So, personally, I don't like that rule at all. And, I don't know why they have it. But, like I said, Peter V'landys, Andrew Ebdo, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this video, which I highly doubt it, the NRL is for the fans, and the fans want to see a good product. It's not about, let's make the game fast, and let's make it fast and quick and less stoppages, yes, it's always nice to not have too many stoppages in the game, but you're taking away a lot away from the game. You're taking away a lot from the game, and in my opinion, this might be a strong opinion, and I'm going to get a bit of stick for saying this, but NRL has gone backwards. Big word there, but the NRL has gone backwards. What about, when 2018 we saw teams from 1st to 8th, how close that was. We saw 2 points separated from 1st to 8th. I know, different competition, different year, but still, the rules weren't bad back then. The rules weren't bad back in 2019. The rules weren't bad, back in 2017. Through the years, the game was great. The game was perfect the way it was. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what it was before. I mean, nothing wrong with how the game was right before. And, I just personally have a strong opinion on this. I have a strong feeling, not just as, not just a Warriors fan, but just a fan of the NRL in general in the game. And if you want to see fans stick around, buy tickets, go to games, watch the games on television, buy the merchandise, be a member. If you want to see that NRL, if you want to see people do that, do not confuse the fans. You're confusing the fans with lots and lots of rules over the years. And right now, it's just, fans in general are sitting there probably going, what's doing here? Why are the rules changing? What am I watching? What are they? What are the rules? I mean, at the end of the day, it can be very confusing for a fan. You look at the bunker and what the bunker, you brought in the bunker. I'm not sure you brought in the referee system where it's just, we used to have one referee on the field. Now we've got 2 referees. I don't mind the 2 referee system. That's one rule I don't mind. I don't mind having the 2 referees. But, the likes of the bunker and all that, at the end of the day, it all confuses the fans, and I'm confused. Everyone's confused. Yes, crack down on rules. Yes, stop players from getting injured. Yes, stop players from, putting high tackles on. But don't go over the top with the rules. Just do not go over the top with the rules at the end of the day. That is my thoughts on it. I don't want to see players get injured. I don't want to see players, in their careers, by an injury. That I get that, but at the end of the day, it's NRL, it's physical sport, it's a contact sport, and this is the game we all love and watch, and we don't want to see the game continue to go backwards. And, right now I'm seeing it as the way it is. I just think the game's going backwards right now as it is. But, the NRL, at the end of the day, they're probably, they're not doing the right thing right now, in my opinion. But let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on the NRL rules? What are your thoughts on the crackdown of high tackles across the weekend? Do you agree with the crackdown rules? Do you agree with the sin bins? Do you agree with the rules in general? Do you like the 60-game rule? Do you like the fact that the game's fast and quick, and we've seen a lot more points in the games? But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, click that red subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.